Namaste everyone. Thank you for joining in this video. So today's video will be trying to address a very common concern that most of astro learners as well as astro enthusiasts have, and that is about the issue of foreign settlement. How do you look at foreign settlement from the horoscope? Okay, and before we get to the meat of the topic, let me give you a few general points. Okay, so the first house, or the lagna, is responsible for our personality as well as the moment and conditions of birth, while the fourth house is responsible for for your homeland, for your place of residence. Now, the horoscope has several houses that are associated with travel and movement. The third house, in this case, and in all cases, that is the third house, it indicates short distance travels or short trips, business trips, vacations, trips within one's own country. Okay, the seventh house is also associated with with travel because it is the opposite of the first house. So the first house, as I said, it is the condition of our birth, and the seventh house indicates the places that are away from the place of birth. Okay, so it is said by Parashara that a strong planet in the seventh house can actually give success away from the place where a person is born. Okay, the ninth house, on the other hand, it stands for long distance travel. For example, travel to another city within the same country. This can also include trips to holy places and pilgrimages and other long journeys. Okay, so Mantresha says that the ninth house also indicates foreign travel. Okay, the 12th house is the most important house associated with foreign countries. Okay, because it is the house of loss, for the first house. So why is this a house of loss? Because in ancient India, when Vedic astrology was first documented, it was considered to be a great misfortune to leave one's home. Okay, and the 12th house also indicates communication with foreigners as well as success abroad if there are favorable influences. All right, and you also have to consider, apart from all these factors, you also have to consider the influence of Rahu and Ketu axis on the fourth house, because the nodes can give certain cardinal and certain sudden changes in their dasha or in their bhukti. Okay, so to analyze abroad settlement, you first of all have to look at the karaka of foreign travel, which is Venus. Okay, so you have to see how well Venus is placed. So only if Venus is strongly placed, only then you can say that the person can, has the potential or has the promise to travel to a foreign country and settle down there. Okay, now just a word of caution: Venus will not be the karaka for foreign travel for all the ascendants. For those ascendants whose 12th house is ruled by Venus, okay, say for a for a Gemini ascendant, the 12th house is ruled by Venus. Okay, for a Scorpio ascendant, the 12th house is ruled by Venus. In that case, you will see, or you will take Jupiter as the karaka for foreign travel. That means you will analyze the strength of Jupiter to see whether a person actually has the promise in the chart to move to a foreign place. Okay, now after that, after looking at the strength of the karaka, you have to analyze the fourth house and its owner. Okay, so if the fourth house is weak, or if the owner of the fourth house is afflicted or damaged, then it already creates the prerequisites for moving. Okay, so such a person will always experience a lot of discomfort associated with living in the place where he is born, or because of those discomforts, there would be a desire to live far away from the place of birth. All right, say for example, let's say there is a malefic or an afflicted Mars in the fourth house. So in that case, the person can be kicked out of the house because Mars is a wanderer. Okay, and in the natural zodiac also, if you look at it, the fourth house is the house of Cancer, so where Mars debilitates, right? And again, for example, say the position of Rahu in the fourth house, especially an aspect on the fourth house from Rahu located in the 12th house, that can also give constant internal dissatisfaction and also a desire to change the place of residence, because Rahu is associated with everything that is foreign. Okay, so as I said, if there are connections between the four houses, as I mentioned, the third house, the seventh house, the ninth house, and the 12th house, and also their owners with if their interactions of the house lords between themselves, okay, then the possibility of moving to a foreign country actually increases manifold. Okay, now then the other thing to look at is the connection of the fourth house to the third house. That means, if your fourth house or the third house and the third house is connected in any way, it means a change of residence. Okay, because the third house is the 12th house of loss for the fourth house of real estate by the principle of bhavad bhavam. So, depending upon the horoscope, the manifested axis of the 3 and 9 houses in connection with the fourth house can give situations where a person is constantly looking for his place, is not tied to a specific place of residence, and also loves to travel. Okay, so I'll give you an example of a native where the ninth house is the owner of where the ninth house, the ninth lord is also the owner of the fourth house, and along with the owners of the third and 12th houses is related to Rahu. Okay, that means in this example, as I'm saying, the ninth house and the fourth house are connected, along with a connection between the third and the 12th house, and then also Rahu, because Rahu also indicates constant movements from here to there. Okay, so Rahu does not stay anywhere for a long time. Okay, so that is another way how you can look at, how can you predict foreign travel for a native. Similarly, a strong association of the first and fourth house with the 7th, 9th, 12th house or the owners of those houses may indicate residence in another country. Okay, again, damage to the fourth house, you have to look at and how much damage the fourth house has, because if the fourth house is damaged, then the person will change residence very frequently. And if the fourth lord is somehow connected to the 9th house and the 12th house, then also foreign settlement is indicated. Okay, but then if these conditions are satisfied and the first house is very strong and has a favorable connection with the fourth house, okay, then sooner or later the person has to return to the homeland, even if he or she leaves for a foreign country. Okay, so apart from the birth chart, the proof of moving abroad should also be there on the D4, which is known as the Chaturthamsha divisional chart, because the Chaturthamsha is the extension of the fourth house and is directly related to real estate and residence. Okay, and if there are combinations in the horoscope that promises that the native will move abroad, there must be one obligatory condition. Okay, and the condition is that the Dasha should be supporting, the transit planets should be supporting. Okay, the Dasha is king for any horoscope. So if the Dasha is not supporting, then the settlement in a foreign country might not happen. Okay, similarly, when the Dasha of a certain planet begins, it begins to strongly influence the mentality of a person. So for example, say the Dasha, if a person is running the Dasha of the fourth house lord and that planet is located in the 12th house, or if there is a malefic planet in the fourth house, especially in the Chaturthamsha or the D4, or maybe the owners of the houses associated with moving, as I said, third house, 7th house, 9th house, 12th house, and also the owner of the fourth house, they are all related. In that case, the person will have a strong desire to change their place of residence or to go abroad. Okay, so as I said, a promise is a promise. It does not mean that it will be fulfilled, but then if these conditions are satisfied, then the probability of living abroad successfully increases manifold. Okay, now let's say, as a final example, let's say there is a connection between the 3rd, 7th, 9th, and 10th houses. Okay, in that case, the native may move to another city and build a good career, but then say the owner of the 12th house of the horoscope is poorly located, or Venus is afflicted by a malefic, and a similar situation also exists in the D4. In that case, it is very likely that even if the native moves abroad and finds success, he or she will be forced to return back to their homeland, because somehow it will get uncomfortable for him or her to live in that foreign place. Okay, so lots of factors to consider, but I hope this video will serve as a pointer for those who are looking to understand foreign travel from the horoscope. Okay, so that's it from me in this video. Do let me know your comments in the comment section. They are of course very valuable for me, and if you like the content, please share it with your friends and family. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and if you want a consultation regarding your chart, you can always reach out to me at the number that is provided in the description box. Okay, so that's it from me. Namaste. Om Gurave Namaha.